Hey polish fans, it's Caroline again, and welcome to another video here at Wildman Lacquer. In today's video, we are finally, only a few months late, opening up our winter box for the Orly Color Pass subscription. Now, to be perfectly honest, I opened this months ago to film it, and I was unimpressed with the color variation. We'll just put it that way. Yeah, just really not excited. I have opened it and swatched it, but I figured we'd start here with the box since this is how it comes in the mail. When I went to go film it initially, I just really was not excited about it. I was not having fun. So I put it aside, and unfortunately put it aside for a long time since winter has long since passed. We are full bore into spring, and in fact summer is not that far off. And I do have those two seasonal boxes to open for you guys as well. So let's just go ahead and open this up and see what we have. As always, we have the little monthly card. This was the Orly's Holiday 2022. It is their Futurism theme. You have the box of 6 polishes. What I will say is I always like their packaging. They're always packed in here very nicely. And then we had our 2 little freebies for the month. So they sent this month a cuticle oil, which is their cuticle and nail treatment oil. And let's see, I don't remember if this one has any sort of a scent. Yeah, kind of a light citrus smell to this one. Cuticle oils are always something I will take, especially as a freebie. I'm getting a lot of really nicely scented ones from indies, so this one doesn't exactly stand out among the crowd as far as that goes, but definitely something worth keeping in your purse or at your desk at work to make sure that your cuticles stay nice and moisturized. Then the second freebie is this folding bag, so one of those reusable shopping bags. And it does fold up in here, but it is kind of some work to get it unfolded and refolded. But it folds out to a somewhat thin shopping bag that has a little internal pocket that you can put something in. So this is good for taking to the grocery store. Okay, maybe not the grocery store, maybe to the mall, or if people don't shop at the mall anymore, when you go into the thrift store to grab a couple of things, this can hold your goodies and treasures when you leave the store. I usually prefer mine a bit bigger. In any case, this bag is pretty narrow. You don't really have a lot of expandability here, so I wouldn't say it's great for a ton of bulky items, but if you were, say, going over to a friend's house and you wanted to just quickly grab a few makeup products or a bathing suit or something, you could throw it in here rather nicely. All right, so then on to our Futurism collection. Like I said, this is for winter 2022 or holiday 2022. So I should have been excited about this because we got all specialty finishes. Orly is pretty known for their cream selection, and a lot of their collections from this Color Pass box have been, if not all creams, mostly creams. And in this collection, we got every single polish in a specialty finish. So I should have been excited, but once these guys swatched, I don't know, I just really wasn't that jazzed about how they ended up looking, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's go ahead and go over these colors. The first one is a charcoal gray metallic with some shimmer. That is Fluidity. The blue one is Ascension. That one has a gray base with a blue sheen. The green is Urban Landscape. That has kind of a similar base to the blue one with a green shift instead of a blue. The next one is Dynamism, and this one is a very interesting color. It's a brown metallic with a bit of a pink and red flash. The purple is Forward Momentum. That one has a similar formula to the other two. Over here, the blue and green, where you have sort of a gray base, and then inside it you have these magenta large particled shimmers. And then the last one is Industrial Playground. This one is sort of a blue cool toned version of this over here, where again you have a gray base, although this time in more of a purple leaning blue. So for this video, I decided that instead of just showing you the swatches that I had, which are here, and we will go over them, but I have also swatched them over black, which I will show you here on the second nail wheel. And some of them are different, some of them aren't like a huge difference, but I did get that idea from Janixa over at Nail Lacquer Therapies. I'll post her channel down below. She had a little short where I believe she showed this one over a black polish, and I thought it looked absolutely gorgeous. So let's go ahead and take a peek at these individually. This first one is Fluidity. That is the charcoal one, and there are other particles going on in here. As you can see, you have a larger particle shimmer running throughout in a couple of different colors. I'm seeing pinks, golds, and green. We'll go ahead and take a peek at this one swatched in 2 coats with a glossy top coat. I think you can see all of the sparkles on this one pretty nicely. You can see the speckles of pink, green, and gold. There's also like a bit of maybe a holographic particle in here as well, because I am seeing a scattering of rainbow sparkles as well. And then that one over black is here again with a glossy top coat. This one definitely made a difference to swatch it over black. It definitely deepened up the color quite a lot. And I think you can see the particles even more. You can see the hollow a little bit more as well. So I think my winning one from this batch is definitely wearing this one over black, but there is Fluidity. Next up is Ascension. This is the blue. This one does have a really pretty shimmer in that component that they used. In the bottle, it looks like you're going to get quite a nice glow. And here is Ascension in 2 coats with a glossy top coat on its own. Most of these I do think worked nicely on their own with just the 2 coats. Maybe longer nail lengths might need a third to reach full opacity, but opacity wise I thought they were really nice. So here on the nail you can see what I mean about that grayish base where most of the color is coming from that shimmer. And here is Ascension over a black undie. And for these swatches I'm using the black cream from LA Colors. That one is called Circuits. So this one, like I said, I thought looked really nice over black. When you compare it to how it looks on its own, it does add a richness to that color. I think you can see the blue even more. It's more pronounced. It adds more of a depth to the polish because the gray that you have by itself is kind of soft and muted, whereas when you have it over a black polish, the blue really pops even more. So that was Ascension. Then the green is Urban Landscape. This one does have that really pretty green shimmer. Now, don't get me wrong, I was happy about the shimmers themselves. Just as a collection, they all ended up looking rather muted. But I mean, look at that vibrant green shimmer in here. Here's Urban Landscape on its own in 2 coats with a glossy top coat. Now, I will say these have grown on me since the initial disappointment. I just wasn't really excited about these muted pearlescent shimmers. But yeah, I will say they have grown on me. And then this is Urban Landscape in 2 coats over black. Now, this is one that I think really, really benefits from being put over a black because look how vibrant that is. You can really see the green popping through just amazingly on its own versus over black. Again, I think that really makes the green pop really nicely. You get almost a blue tone to it as well, sort of leaning towards an evergreen. That I think is one of my favorites over black for sure. So that was Urban Landscape. Next up we have Dynamism. And this one is really unusual. I will give them that. They really went outside the box. We have this copper leaning brown with, again, a very strong shimmer. So this is very unusual and I applaud them for going outside the box. This isn't a color I think I've ever seen any other mainstream brand do. Maybe not even an indie brand, but browns aren't necessarily one of my favorite colors or go-to colors, but this is an interesting combination. Here is Dynamism in 2 coats with a glossy top coat all on its own. This one does have a really nice opacity, as do they all. I like the gloss on this, and the tone of the brown is really nice. It's kind of a soft minky brown. The shimmer isn't super prominent on this one, but you can see that glow that it adds. It's definitely adding something to the polish because if it was just a cream, you definitely wouldn't get that nice pop of that glow in the center of the nail. And here is Dynamism in 2 coats over black. This one I was kind of surprised didn't make like a massive difference. There it is all on its own. There it is over black. Now I will say it does add something. They aren't like identical, but I don't think it made as huge an impact as say it did on the green. I would say for myself, I might try wearing this over maybe a dark brown, like a dark chocolate brown if I have a cream in that color. If not, I might try wearing this over a very, very dark purple and see how I might like that. But there is Dynamism. Next up, we have Forward Momentum. And this is another one that actually in the bottle does look really nice. You have this charcoaly gray base with a large particled fuchsia shimmer. There's also kind of a shift to a red towards the edges of the bottle. And I think I described this one technically as a purple, so there might be a bit more purple depending on your lighting situation. Yeah, there I think you can see it sort of shift from that fuchsia to a bit of purple. And here is Forward Momentum in 2 coats, all on its own with a glossy top coat. So here you can definitely see that gray undertone in that base, and then that shimmer adds a bit of a glow on top of that color. This is another one that just was not my favorite, surprisingly. I know, Willabug, I know. Because purples are my favorite color family, but this one just, I don't know, I didn't really care for the gray base with that fuchsia to purple on top. It just didn't really speak to me. And here is Forward Momentum over black. This one I definitely think makes a difference. You can see this sort of muted, washed out look that it has on its own compared to it over black. I think the color really pops a lot more that way. So again, props to Janixa for trying these over black, because I definitely didn't really think of that when I was swatching them initially, and I think it makes a big difference for a lot of these colors. So there was Forward Momentum, and then the last one is Industrial Playground, and this one I think was another one that I just really wasn't that excited about all on its own. You have this muted gray, almost blue-gray base, and then you have this blue to purple shimmer in it. Again, props to Orly for trying these finishes, because again, I love it when you see mainstream brands trying something different. They just didn't really hit and mesh with me initially, but I appreciate the try. I definitely appreciate the try. So here is Industrial Playground in 2 coats with a glossy top coat all on its own. And it does create sort of a wash of purple on the nail, which is strange because on camera you're catching it more as this blue with maybe a tiniest hint of purple. This one does have some shifts in it. And then here is Industrial Playground over black. This is another one where I really think it made a huge difference putting it over black. You can really see the color a lot more. It's got some oomph, it's got some pizzazz, it has power behind it, which I think is what I felt for myself anyways, that the original collection was kind of lacking, but love this one over black. That one is another favorite. So there was Industrial Playground. I know, I hear you, love bug. And then also as a little side note before we wrap things up, they do offer a little nail art tutorial on their card that the collection came with, and it suggests putting it over black and then doing sort of an ombre with the tip to the back of the nail. So that could also be another thing that could be fun to recreate. So there we have it. That is going to wrap up the Futurism collection from Orly for holiday 2022. Again, apologies about this being so ridiculously late. So overall, I do think I'll get some use out of these. I don't think any of them are immediate straight to the de-stash or anything like that. This one especially I think might be one to pull out for the fall season. That one does have a nice coppery chocolate base, and I am intrigued by the pink shimmer that you're seeing in there. So did you get this collection? If you did, let me know what your thoughts were down below. Have you gotten any use out of it since you got them? Did you use them in winter, or are you saving any of these colors for other seasons? Or do you just wear polish whenever you feel like it? And have you worn any of these? Those are my questions. As always, thank you so much for hanging out with me. Hopefully you guys had a good time. If you are new, definitely make sure to hit the little subscribe button down below. That way you don't miss out on any of my new videos. And I will see you in that next one.